pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Just a quick reminder to please silence your phones. I want to welcome Bob back tonight. Great to see you. Hope you're feeling well. Before we start tonight's meeting, we just recited the Pledge of Allegiance. I want to apologize in advance. I'm a bit shaken by today's news, the national news. Every meeting we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I guess those words haven't meant a ton to me more than today, after today's events. Try to get it out of my mind for the last hour and a half, and I think this is the right platform to start our meeting off. That, we do this as our civic duty. I watch a lot of our people get chastised and polarized in social media, and I'm always the first to be defensive about it, whether it's my colleagues and friends or employees. We say the national anthem at every sporting event. We pay taxes. This is Constitution Week. We're going to sign a proclamation tonight. We sign an oath, and we do our best to do our duties. And I'm ashamed and embarrassed by the events that happen in our country, how polarized and political everything has become, that we lost a 32-year-old man today for the ultimate sacrifice for freedom of speech. And we allow that same freedom here every meeting, at public comment, public hearing, and I don't take it lightly. So again, I'm going to get through this meeting, but I'm really ashamed of what we've become for our citizens, for my friends, for my family, my kids, my grandkids. We need to come together. We're so divided. And, I hope everybody at home gets the same message, because we can do so much better. This is a senseless act. Take those words, even in our schools, that Pledge Allegiance we've been doing since kindergarten, every meeting. It needs to have more meaning. Life needs to have more meaning, period. So, again, I apologize. We'll get on with the meeting. At this time, I'd like to welcome Matt Weaver from First National. He's going to do a presentation for us.
Good to see everyone. Familiar faces. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Weaver, Chief Investment Officer for First National Wealth Management. I'm managing the town's reserve and perpetual funds for how many years has it been, Michelle? 7 or 8? 9?
Probably about 7.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I distributed a presentation material here along with the portfolio, which I'll get to after going through the numbers for you. On the third page of the presentation package, you see my quarterly newsletter that we send out to clients. This has been a year that we've had a steep pullback in April with the news of the tariffs and uncertainty on what numbers we were going to have for those tariffs once they were negotiated. And I just wanted to remind everyone that that the market has an ability to climb a wall of worry. We have all these geopolitical issues, we have the tariffs, but markets keep chugging along and doing well domestically and internationally as well this year. So some good positive numbers to give you. The next page is the asset allocation of the account, which is based upon the policy in place for the town. So that's basically a 40-60 portfolio, 40% equities, 60% bonds and cash. You can see the mix of diversification here in the middle pie chart. It's a portfolio that's dominated by large cap domestic companies, so that's our bias, with some international and mid cap, US small cap, and emerging markets as well. Going to the next page, I'll give you the numbers year to date. Year to date, the account is up 5.53%. Over the last year through July, it's up 7.99. 3-year annual average is 6.39 against the benchmark of 6.44. And the 5 years, 4.43 against a benchmark of 3.64. And since inception, we're up almost a full percentage point over the blended benchmark of 5.9 against the benchmark of 4.91. So I think we're doing our job in that sense on a relative basis. We're beating that blended benchmark. As I mentioned, all of the equity markets have done well this year, especially international, which is up 22% through July. Any questions on that? I'm going to skip to the portfolio, just quickly go through that, give you a sense of how we're managing the town's funds. On the first page here, you see a list of the companies that we invest in. They are, we all are familiar with those names, Alphabet, Amazon, Bristol Myers, Citigroup, General Mills, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft. And then we have some funds here, and the funds allow us to have exposure to those markets where we don't really want to buy individual securities. Gets a little risky when you're buying small caps or mid cap companies for municipalities. So we prefer the diversification of a mutual fund or an ETF, but we want to have exposure to all markets. So we have, a large cap growth fund in here, domestic fund. We have a mid cap fund, small cap funds. We have several international funds. And you can see the tax cost column, what we purchased these funds for, these stocks, and then what the market value is now. As you can see, if you're going down through here, we have some nice gains over the years. We bought the Dodge & Cox International Fund for $154,000. It's now worth $280,000. The Fidelity Growth Fund, we purchased it for $229,000. It's now worth $388,000. So I think we picked the right funds for the town. Again, we want that diversification. We're comfortable owning some large cap domestic names, but for the rest of the portfolio, we want to make sure that we don't have to worry about what we call headline risk. Like when BP's rig blew up in the Gulf, years ago. British Petroleum was a company that people felt safe getting a 5% dividend, except overnight when that news was released, that stock went down 50%. So I prefer not to have a lot of individual securities in the portfolio unless it's names like Bristol Myers or General Mills, names we all know. On the second page, at the bottom there, you'll see a list of fixed income securities that we purchased for the town. What's important to note here is on the right column, the yield that we're getting from these investments. Most of them are north of 4%. So they've all been purchased after rates went up after 22, 23. There's several exceptions here. If you'll notice the fifth line down, the Bank United CD, it was purchased back in 21 when rates were much lower. But that's coming off the portfolio in a few months, and we're going to be able to replace it with a 4% CD. So we have very few fixed income investments left in the portfolio that are throwing off those yields from back when we could get 0.25 on our savings account. I guess you all remember that. On the next page, you'll see that we mix up our fixed income investments with mutual funds, with CDs, We have some corporate debt here. We have Cummins Engines bond that's paying almost 5%. We have a Tennessee Valley Authority bond that's over 6%. And on the last page, we have some Treasury bonds as well. They're TIPS that are pegged to inflation. So when inflation flares up, those bonds go up in value. So it's sort of a hedge that we have in place for inflation. Questions?
We're following the guidelines of the town's investment policy, and we're beating the other benchmarks. So, I mean, actually is helpful for us. I assume this is the undesignated fund balance is what this monies that are invested.
It's not just that. It's actually a bunch of our trust funds. So
Okay.
the Crawford Trust Fund money is in here. Perpetual care funds are in here. So things that where it's principal balances where we're only allowed to use interest only. So that's where they're invested as well.
Sure. Thank you, Michelle.
Any TIF funds in here?
I don't think so. No, not in that respect. We do have regular working capital where we potentially do some CDs, but we did just recently take out a CD with First National on the banking side, not the wealth management side, and they were able to get us I think it was a 4.1 rate. So, but that is typically money that is held in our checking account, or easily accessible and easy to liquidate, as opposed to these where they would have to go through the
Short-term, we can
processes.
Get at it when we need it. Yeah. Matt, I think it's great. I mean, this is my world as well. You're beating it by 1% on average. It's a nice blended risk. I honestly couldn't be happier of where our money is safe, and it looks like it's doing great, excellent growth. And like you said, there's a couple of fixed ones that are coming off soon, and you'll be able to reinvest them. And I think we'll see even a little heftier next year. So
Yeah, and I think it's important that the policies in place with the guidelines, and with the trust funds in here, we tend to be close to that 40% level because you want to have that growth component to make sure that the buying power of this money doesn't go down by 3 or 4% every year due to inflation. So we tend to be on the higher end, but if we see inflationary data coming in, or if we think the Fed's going to raise rates at some point, which we don't think is going to happen over the next year. In fact, that old adage of don't fight the Fed, they're going to cut 50 basis points in a few weeks. They're probably going to cut again between now and February or March. So generally equity markets, or historically, have done well when the Fed's cutting rates. And when they raise rates, then that's when you want to get more defensive. So 2022 is a prime example of that.
yeah.
For the people at home, could you give us a quick brief of the bottom line for grand total assets with annual income and things to that nature?
The total assets is just over 5.6 million. We have a tax cost in here of 4.7 million. That's not the initial investment, but it's probably pretty close. And then the total amount of income being thrown off is 165,000, and the yield with the equities and the bonds and the cash is just south of 3%, 2.95. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, please.
Just a quick note to something that we didn't actually specifically mention, other than the policy that is in place on how the municipality does do its investments. Those are actually guided by very strict accounting standards and regulations for municipal funds. So the town of Fairfield, because it's not just the town as an entity's money, it's everybody's money in the community, you're not allowed to go and just invest all your money in gold or silver or anything like that. There are very specific rules in which we have to make sure that the risk doesn't outweigh the gain on some of this stuff. It is subject to oftentimes market trends. We have had years in which it's performed better than others. We do know that, especially when you look at the Crawford Fund over the years, whereas You know, if you give them more than what it gains in the next year, then they suffer a loss. But it definitely is working and is working well for us and has for quite some time.
Good.
As I said earlier, it's a nice blend. I'm very conservative. I like fixed assets because you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But like I said, that blended, you're beating it by 1%. I couldn't be happier.
Good.
Agreed. I mean, that's what you want for a town.
Absolutely. Safe, and it's doing well. Any other questions for Matt?
Thank you for coming.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for having me. Take care.
Okay. First order of business, public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com. Absentee ballot requests are now being accepted for the November 4th election. Ballots will be available beginning October 3rd. Lawrence Public Library, author and retired Maine guide Tim Cavalli's program, So You Think You Know Maine, is on Saturday, September 13th at 11 a.m. There's still time to plan a trip to Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens. The patron pass is good until October 15th. Save the dates. October 18th is our third annual Fall Festival, which will include a ton of fall fun. And October 29th, 30th, and 31st is our Haunted Stacks. More information is coming soon. Second order of business, public hearings. So we were to have our charter amendment to amend Article 2, Section 200, the annual town budget meeting. That public hearing has been postponed until our next meeting, September 24th. The meeting is to correct the legal wording in the initial public notice, so that has already been sent out to be reposted. So we'll have that hearing again on September 24th. Third order of business, public comments. Limit to 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request an opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments for council to info@fairfield-me.gov by 4 p.m. day of meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time. Do I have anybody who would like to reserve time for an article later or would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, seeing none. Bob?
No comment, but I do want to thank everyone for kind thoughts and wishes and prayers. When I made the announcement, I guess I feel comfortable here because I never thought being recorded, and for the past 2 or 3 weeks, people have stopped and asked, how I'm feeling? How do you know? How we saw you on Crossroads. So, but Jim Harding, thank you.
It's fantastic. We're glad to see you tonight, and we hope you're doing well.
Exactly.
All right, our fourth order of business, reports from staff and committees. Town manager report.
All right. So on September 28th, I attended the KRDA Executive Board meeting. Also participated in a WABI interview regarding the ambulance donation. I did not see that piece. I don't know if any of you saw it.
Is that August 28th? Sorry.
September 28th.
Yeah.
August 28th. You're right.
Wow.
Well, you know, it's in the future. That's probably why I haven't seen it yet.
No one has.
August 28th.
Yes.
And then September 2nd, I participated in a WVII interview, which is Channel 7, regarding the ambulance donation. And then also on the 4th, WVII interviewed us regarding the closing of Aurora Healthcare on Main Street, which I'm sorry to say, I didn't know anything about until the television station actually called. We had not heard anything in our office about that, but we did reach out to them and confirmed, and the code enforcement officer offered any assistance if they needed anything, so. And then also that day, the fire chief and I did meet with Delta Ambulance to discuss a possible partnership regarding the use of paramedics. There's more to come on this. We're working on that, and there'll be a conversation, potentially even need a workshop meeting just for council regarding this. We're still working on that. And then on the 5th, which was last Friday, the 2025-26 property taxes were committed. The total amount committed was $9,739,130.77, which was a $594,518.79 more than last year, which caused the mill rate to increase by 0.9 mils so it went to 19.4 from 18.5. The tax bills have been mailed, and the first installment is due October 9th. Anyone who has any questions regarding their tax bill, simply contact the office. They can either speak with the tax collector, the girls at the counter, the tax assessor once the bills come in. But if you have not received your bill in a week to 10 days, please let us know, because we'll need to verify that your address was correct. But please allow time for mailing, because we know that the mail is not moving swiftly. And that's it for me.
Okay. Any questions for Michelle?
I had a question.
Kevin?
I was going through, and I talked to Brittany a little bit about it at voting day, but I didn't get an opportunity to go into detail. I just had a question about her section of the town manager's report where it talks about canceled voters. I was wondering what that is. I went back since January. We've had 1,080 canceled voters. What does that mean?
So those are voters that have moved to different municipalities. In CVR, they come up as canceled or removed voters, because once that person is entered into a different town's database, it automatically pulls their information from Fairfield to Winslow or wherever, and it will show up as a removed or canceled voter in our system.
Okay. And then I noticed that we're staying open coming up, or did I miss a date for voter registration?
Yep, it's the late hours in October, I believe.
Okay.
Usually it's the first, or 5 days before an election, we have to stay open based off statute for voter reg.
State statute requires at least a one time before, so
5
many
days,
days in
yeah.
advance of an election that you're available for voter registration. And it's voter registration only. That's all that's available for at that
I
time.
guess my plea would be for our residents, if you've moved into our town since the last election or voted, go see our town clerk to make sure that your voter ID gets updated.
And they can register to vote online now too, which is fairly new. That also gets sent to us in CVR, which is a central voter system. We check that almost daily. So you can do online voter registrations, and we process those right in the office.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Had one quick question, Michelle, about how, with some of the treasurer's warrants that we had from the school with the delayed budget approval, and there was some back and forth there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Meaning the value of what that...
So actually how what we paid out ahead of time,
Yep.
and then,
So when they do the calculation, we haven't actually received the official assessment paperwork from the school, but what we did receive from the school was the assessment number. So the school board hasn't, or if they have, we haven't received, they have to sign specific paperwork calling for the assessment. What happens is that the total amount of the budget is calculated based upon the vote that happened on Tuesday, and then it's broken down by 12 months. By taking into consideration what we already paid in the first 3 months at the higher amount, that therefore reduces the remaining months in the assessment. And that was highlighted in that document. We did see that, where that was accounted for.
thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Michelle or committees? No? All right, let's start. Councilor Thibodeau, Economic Development.
Well, Mark Hume, who's also on the Economic Committee, and myself went to Mill Island Park on September 2nd, and we, in the hopes that people would come that were interested in starting the Friends of Mill Island Park. We had 3 people show up. 2 of them represented the Kennebec-Messalonski Trail System, and 1 is a Fairfield resident. And there was a resident from Benton that came as well. And we just walked around on the trails and talked about the park itself. So once we have a regular meeting and I talk more with the committee, we'll see where we want to go with this. And so more to come.
Great. When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is going to be, I don't know the date, it's the first Tuesday in
First
October
Tuesday.
at 3:30 in this room.
Councilor Lawrence, Building Committee.
Okay, Building Committee will be meeting Monday, September 22nd at 5:30 in the council chambers. We'll be discussing possibly on like a road trip to other towns to see the public, their buildings, so.
Do some tours.
Was,
Yeah. Fantastic. Dr. Townsend?
Yeah, it looks like we are having our first organizational meeting tentatively for September 23rd. That's a Tuesday, and that's at 6 o'clock right here.
6 p.m. right here.
Yes.
Okay, and our ice rink committee, we have not started yet. We're going to get into that later in the agenda. Okay. Fifth order of business, consent agenda. These items are considered routine or standard business, and therefore they will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. Item 25-90, ordered that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting 2025-14 held on August 20th, 2025. And item 25-91, ordered that the Town Council hereby approves Treasurer's Warrant number 68 in the amount of $700,047.26 to include but not limited to motor vehicle fees, Wellman Paving, MMA Employee Health Insurance, and CMP.
So move.
Second.
A motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Townsend. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Old council business, the website. The town clerk is continuing the development of the website and is almost ready for council review. I know it's been busy. Thank you for all your work on that. It'll be nice when it's up. Fairfield Benton Fire Agreement, a joint town council and select board meeting is being scheduled for September. I've had discussions with Michelle. I know she's just waiting. Benton met last week, so hopefully we'll have a date soon. Committee meeting recordings, no new information.
I'd like to have some options for you to talk about on the 24th.
Okay. So updated on the 24th. Community Center grant, happy to announce that the dishwasher has been installed. So I believe that's the end of that grant. Everything's up and running.
Yes.
The administrative fee schedule, we anticipate amendments during the next September meeting, again on the 24th. I'm sure we'll go over fee schedule, including the community center.
There's quite a few.
Seventh order of business, to take action on the following items of business. Item 25-92, order that the town council hereby approves amending the previously approved item 25-87, 2024-2025 general fund warrant number 139, originally recorded as $4,119.89, to the corrected amount of $17,906.41, and the 2025-26 general fund warrant number 63, originally recorded at $626,741.54, to be corrected to the amount of $795,984.95.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Council Thibodeau, second by Council Lawrence. Any discussion? Kevin?
I just had a question of what happened. I'm not fully clear on what happened.
I'll let Michelle answer
I
that
can
one.
easily explain that. Okay, so you know how every meeting you get this document right here, it shows the warrant and it lists the top 4 people as part of the warrant? Well, typically what happens is the total that's at the bottom is the full amount of the warrant. What you received last week, the total that was on here was the full amount of just the 4 people listed on the sheet.
Okay.
So it ended up being an Excel faux pas is what happened. And it didn't get caught until after we were done. They were going, it got caught that night. The treasurer was listening to the meeting and said, oh no, that's not the right number for the warrant. So that's what happened. So it was brought to our attention the very next morning. So that's why it needed to be corrected.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-93, order that Town Council hereby approves the purchase of a 2025 Ford E450 Demers MX-170 in the amount of $367,600 to be funded entirely by a donation from Ally King, and approves the purchase of radios, siren and traffic emitter, IV warmer, and installation in the amount of $30,000 to be funded entirely by a Maine EMS grant.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Council Townsend, second by Council Thibodeau. Any discussion?
I just wanted to thank Chief for putting this together. I've read through it and actually had no questions, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Oh,
So if we,
fantastic.
I just had a question. So if we approve this as chief, you order it, how soon will that be in?
I don't know. I'll have to talk with the salesperson and find out, but I'm in hopes that it will be within the next month or two. It is going to take some time because they have to fit it in their schedule for install and all that type of stuff. So it's going to depend on their backlog, basically. So, but I will find out and at the very least get you another answer for the next meeting. If not, see the truck by then. So, but I'm guessing it's going to take a couple months.
Okay.
Is there an in-service period that you would need to go through once you receive it?
Yep, so is what we typically do is each employee who is cleared to operate the vehicle will have to drive 100 miles on the vehicle to get cleared in its operation. All safety, operational training will be done, and then it will take us probably, I'm guessing, a week or so to get all the equipment switched over and mounted in its proper location. So there will definitely be a time period before it's in place.
Do you have any current employees right now that can drive an ambulance?
Oh, yeah, we all can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just mean, every vehicle that we purchase, we require them to drive 100 miles
Okay.
before they're cleared to drive it. Yeah.
During an active call.
Okay.
Also, thank you for that grant
Yes,
that
once
you
again.
applied for.
Yep.
Any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-94, order the Town Council hereby approves the purchase of turnout gear and boots in the amount of $25,735 from the Fire to Capital Reserve Account. Capital
moved.
Equipment Reserve Account.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Thibodeau. Any discussion? I'm assuming we hired 3 new firemen. That's what
Yeah,
this is.
we're outfitting people and then replacing some much
Older gear.
worn out gear that needs to be replaced.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Again, unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item 25-95, order that the Town Council hereby appoints members to the Ice Steering Committee.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Council Lawrence, second by Council Thibodeau. We have we have 6 members that have applied. Adam Lorette, Chris Perry, Jamie Boulette, Patrick Garrett, Dr. Townsend, and myself. Any discussion? Kevin?
How many people ultimately are we looking to have on this committee?
I think we said 7 to 9. I think we originally said 7 with 2 council members, and we had approved Dr. Townsend and myself already, but we wanted to make sure we sent our appointment applications as well, so there were no questions. So I think there's still room. Michelle, is that correct? We had 7 plus the 2 counselors.
I was just looking it up. So number of committee members was 7. Yes.
Okay.
Plus the 2 counselors, right?
It doesn't say, it just says number of committee members recommended 7. And then it listed seated council members limit to 2, Tim Martin and Matt Townsend.
Because
So we'd
when I
still-
was looking at the applications, we have a gentleman from Smithfield. We have a gentleman from Arousick, am I saying it right, Maine? Arrowick, Maine, and a gentleman from Sydney, and then everybody else is from Fairfield. So when I understand where Patrick Garrett is coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
He's from Sydney. James Boulette, he's talking about PFAS mitigation, but yet he wants to do the ice arena. That wasn't,
Yeah, I don't know where that was put
I
in
don't know
there.
where
but-
that came from,
yeah.
So Jamie is an accountant. I served on a hockey board of directors with Jamie, I want to say, for 15 years. He's been part of Maine Amateur Hockey Association as well as Central Maine Youth Hockey, before that Waterville Youth Hockey. So vast knowledge of hockey and philanthropy is the biggest thing for Jamie. He worked for a long time with the Alphon Center on trying to put a building in place in the Waterville area at that point, and we thought it would be real prudent to keep him on. He's got heavy ties to big donors, so it's going to be a plus. Chris Perry actually owns a property in Fairfield. It's not his primary residence anymore, but he still has a location, I believe, on the Ridge Road. So still a Fairfield taxpayer.
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And
Pat,
I believe he also was involved as a Fairfield business, which was Hutamaki.
yes,
Yeah.
so he's the plant manager at Hutamaki.
Oh.
Good friend of mine. Again, extensive hockey background.
Good.
And again, more philanthropy. Chris moved to Indiana for quite a while. His sons were real big in hockey, so they played juniors. And his ties to the community and business should help us out tremendously on that committee. Pat Garrett is at the Alphon Center. I'm expecting probably before long, it may be a conflict of interest if Ken Walsh ever resigns or retires from the Alphon Center. Pat's a Lawrence grad.
Right.
And he's the one that had brought it to us with the donation of all the Alphon equipment. So, again, another one, they've already been tied into this type of committee. They just couldn't find the land to make it work. And I think our ideas will be hopefully bigger than what they even originally planned, so.
It sounds very exciting to have that diversity within the group.
I'm hoping it's going to be with
That's a
Dr. Townsend and I,
great
with
committee to
business
start.
Yep.
background.
Oh, how exciting. Yep. Very
Kevin?
good.
Are we looking, excuse me, are we looking to extend the deadline then to fill the remaining seats?
You certainly could leave it open so that if other people decided they wanted to be involved, it's what we've done before in the past, but you have enough to at least get a quorum together and get a committee started before winter gets here.
I'd like to get maybe that first meeting started by the end of October, but I would love to leave it open to fill it, and I really don't want to hold it to.
I've had a
to
resident
seven.
or two come to me today saying, since they only saw that there were 4 people on it,
Yeah.
asking that. And then, Mr. Boulette, is that how I pronounce it?
Boulette, yeah, Boulette.
I would honestly like to see him, if we're going to extend it, update his appointment application. I mean, I would love to have him on the environmental committee based off of this, but unfortunately, he's not a Fairfield resident. Maybe update it with what you just stated, so
Yeah.
that we have that.
I'll reach out to Jamie. We'll
And
get
then
that
also
taken.
to Mr. Perry, if he could put some of his information on there as well.
Sure.
I think that would help a lot when we make the decision, just for record.
Like little bios.
Yes.
That's fine. I didn't put much for a bio on my own.
Unfortunately, we all know you, Tim.
All right.
So were you
Michelle.
talking about not appointing these positions at this point?
No, I think we should appoint them so you can carry on with planning.
I'd like to appoint them, Kevin. I will gladly get them to update their bios. I mean, I will vouch for them. I know their backgrounds extensively.
I would second everything that Chairman Martin said. I know both of them as well, and everything he said is straight up. So I think they'd be both very important members of the committee and would bring a lot to it.
But in the future, I can see a brochure
Yeah,
being made up, and the people on the committee with a little bio. So
Sure.
I think it'd be advantageous to get that bio done, because we're going to be looking at a lot of capital campaigns and whatnot, so you need to have the bios anyway.
Could I ask then for a condition that they update these?
I don't think that's a problem. Yeah. I see this as an evolving committee. I think this initial group, along with Michelle's got some good contacts that she's recently met as well, UMO, and maybe the Alphon Foundation. So I see it evolving pretty quickly. They had their ducks in a row for quite a while. Again, my personal vision is maybe bigger, but the plan is to bring back a multiple different proposals and see what works. Obviously, it's all going to be about capital.
Can you discuss one last time, please, for clarity of why we are looking for people that are not necessarily Fairfield residents?
I see this more as economic development in the long run, but whereas the ice rink and they already had a foundation started with capital financing, equipment, which we've already accepted, these are part of that group of people that were originally involved. Bert Langette is another one at Golden Pond Wealth Management who's very heavily in Central Maine youth hockey that I reached out to. I don't know if he's interested. He's a Belgrade resident. So at this point where we're looking at a building and a cost, it's what's more effective. And then I think once we have something to present, it becomes more in the Economic Development Committee phase where that final process and approval will be. So that's what I envision and why we brought in, I'm going to say experts, so to say, in the field of hockey arenas or civic centers.
Thank you.
Agreed. Spot on.
Any other questions on that item? Any discussion? So with the condition of updating those bios for those two people, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-96, order the town council hereby appoints Joseph, is it Musamechi?
Musamechi, yeah.
To the Economic and Community Development Committee.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Thibodeau, second by Councilor Townsend.
I'd like to thank Joe for coming tonight. This is a standing committee for the town. It's not something new, so we have an application, yours, so I want to thank you for, ahead of time, for taking interest in the Economic and Community Development Committee. And we'll be meeting October 7th at 3:30,
Great.
right here.
Okay. That sounds great.
So we do have a pretty good bio right here.
I
Does
just-
anybody have any questions for?
I would like to say I met Joseph for the first time a few years back when he was working at KVCC. And as a member of the Chamber of Commerce, every event I go to, I see him over there representing KVCC. So I think he would be a great addition to our team.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Agreed.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Got a great bio, and we know Councilor Thibodeau's done a great job with that committee.
Thank you.
We've got some great feedback from Gavin in our last meeting, so I'm going to give you an early welcome aboard and thank you. Any other questions for Joseph? Michelle?
I just need you to clarify, this was to replace Tim Forsman.
Yeah.
And his term actually was set to expire, council organizational, on 2026. Are we fine with adding, I need you to add that to the, friendly amendment, what have you, just so that that's clear and that he's filling that Tim Forsman.
Okay, so I'm going to reread it. Order the town council hereby appoints Joseph Musamechi to the Economic Community Development Committee for a term ending 2026
Council organizational meeting 2026.
at the organizational meeting in 2026.
So what that means, Joe, is that you'll have to
Reapply.
reapply in January or December, fill out the paperwork.
This
So,
coming 26th January.
Right?
What usually happens is we don't ask them to reapply.
Okay.
We just confirm that they wish to continue.
That's it,
Gotcha.
You won't even need to come back to a meeting.
right.
We'd love to have you, but you would not have to come.
And the terms are for 3 years.
Okay, great.
So, yeah.
And it's ultimately a council appointment, so you would be reappointed.
That all sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you on board.
Yes, me too.
Although we haven't voted
Of
yet.
course, yes.
We'll do that right now. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a tough one, huh? Item 25-97, order the town council hereby accepts the resignation of Bruce Williams from his elected seat as Kennebec Water District trustee, a 3-year term set to expire December 31st, 2026.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Lawrence, second by Councilor Thibodeau. Any discussion?
And this will be put on the warrant for the voting in November 4th, correct? Did I read that somewhere?
No.
No.
Your next article will say what you're going to do with it.
Okay, thank you. We'll wait. I'll wait.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-98, order the town council hereby accept applications until October 2nd, 2025 to fill the vacant Kennebec Water District trustee seat with the term ending December 31st, 2026.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Council Lawrence, second by Councilor Townsend. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-99, or the town council hereby accepts the resignation of Bruce Williams for his appointed seat at the Kennebec Water District trustee. Did I read that one right? Kennebec Sanitary Treatment District trustee, a 3-year term set to expire June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Thibodeau, second by Councilor Lawrence. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-100, order that the town council hereby accept applications until October 2nd, 2025 to fill the vacant Kennebec Sanitary Treatment District trustee seat with the term ending June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Thibodeau, second by Councilor Townsend. Any discussion? Before we vote, I just want utmost appreciation and thank you to Bruce Williams. He's served our town and these positions for a long time, and can't thank him enough.
He will be missed.
Agreed.
Yep.
Visit him in the garage. His garage. Say hi.
Say hi.
All those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Item 25-101, order the town council hereby signs a proclamation designating September 17th through September 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Lawrence, second by Councilor Thibodeau. I have asked Councilor Thibodeau to please read what we're about to sign on the proclamation, but also we've got a little background on what Constitution Week is all about, and it dates back a very long time.
Yes, it does. And as a matter of fact, when I was teaching, we were, by law, supposed to talk about the Constitution during the month of September. So it's nice to see this actually coming back and being reinforced. Did you want me to read the back page on the Constitution Week
Yeah.
first? Okay. The Constitution of the United States of America is celebrated from September 17th to the 23rd of this year. The Constitution is the safeguard of all our liberties, champion of our freedoms. The purposes of the observation and celebration of Constitution Week are: 1, to emphasize the responsibility of protecting and defending the Constitution and preserving it for posterity. 2, to understand that the Constitution is our great heritage and the foundation of our lives. 3, to study the historical events which occurred during September 1787. How the Constitution Week came about. Miss Gertrude S. Caraway, while President General of the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution, was responsible for the annual designation of September 17th to the 23rd as Constitution Week. She submitted a tentative resolution to the National Chairman Resolutions Committee. This was adopted April 21st, 1955, by the Continental Congress. Members of the United States Congress received copies of the DAR resolutions, and on June 7th, 1955, at a flag presentation to the Senate by the Executive Committee, the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution resolution about Constitution Week was discussed. On June 14th, Senator William F. Nolan of California introduced Senate Concurrent Resolution 140, authorizing and requesting that President Eisenhower follow the DAR example by proclaiming September 17th to the 23rd as Constitution Week. Following passage of this resolution by both houses of the Congress, President Eisenhower issued his proclamation on August 19, 1955. The first observance of Constitution Week was so successful that on January 5, 1956, Senator Nolan introduced a Senate joint resolution to have the President designate September 17th to the 23rd annually as Constitution Week. This resolution was adopted on July 23rd and signed into Public Law 915 on August 2nd, 1956. So this is the proclamation for Constitution Week 2025. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, we, the Fairfield Town Council, by virtue of the authority vested in us in the town of Fairfield, in the state of Maine, do hereby proclaim September 17th through the 23rd to be Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedom guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set by our hand and caused the seal of the town of Fairfield be affixed this 10th day of September, the year of our Lord 2025, and the 249th year of the independence of the United States of America, of which we will all sign at the end of this meeting.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Thank you, Councilor Thibodeau.
You're welcome. You
Very
do.
well read. I just want to reiterate, this is our foundation. We can't say any more than that. With no foundation, we have nothing. So very happy to sign this.
Great. It's nice to reaffirm it
Yes.
as a council, so.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Eighth order of business, council workshop and other business. Discuss other council business. I'm going to start on that end tonight. Dr. Townsend.
I just have one quick one, and actually it's been hit on a couple different ways. But I just want to thank Bruce Williams for all his years of service to the town of Fairfield. And one of the things that when I talked to him, he was just tired, wanted to change, and I am happy for him, and so that he can spend more time in his garage and travel a little bit more. But he also talked to me about how he was worn out by sometimes the constant strife of attacks of the town employees on social media. And while he may not have been always the butt of it, he definitely felt it. And so I think it speaks to what you said earlier, Chairman Martin, about how everybody works very hard here and we try our best. And so you can disagree with the ideas, but don't hate the person. Disagree with the ideas, not the person. So that's all. So I wanted to again thank Bruce Williams for all his service, and thanks for his friendship. Look forward to seeing him around the neighborhood.
Thank you. I reiterate everything you just said. Thank you. Council Kitchen.
I have a couple of things. First, I wanted to discuss on our agendas, we put that public announcements may be found on the website. We don't do that. So we probably need to fix our agendas to remove that. I also feel that if possible, we should announce. I know that we're still working the website, but any announcements, public announcements, I think should still get posted on the website until we get it up. Or if we alternative, then we go to put it on our Facebook page. But I think we can do a better job at making sure that we can get our public announcements out there. So food for thought, we can discuss that after. That was just my opinion on that. The next question I have for us as a group, I guess, is the charter review. I'm looking at the charter, section 102, commencing in 2021, the month of January. So coming up in 26, a committee of 5 members shall be appointed by the town council to review and recommend changes in the charter. So I know it's only September, but I think that's something that we should consider, start looking for committee members for that. So come January, we're ready to go on that, per the town charter. And then the last thing I have is, I think as we get closer towards the end of the year, we were still talking about discussing the comprehensive plan in sections. I just wanted to keep that on the forefront too.
I think we'll add that to old business.
What's that?
We'll add that to old business.
When did we want to start that? In January? Or do you want to start it more recently?
I don't know. I don't know what's best. I guess you're the expert.
It takes a while to go through it, and I think the thing is, there aren't any other candidates running for our positions, so there's really no reason for us not to start it sooner.
Right.
Unless,
Sorry.
go ahead, Matt.
No, finish.
No.
Sorry.
So, it takes maybe 6 months to go through it. I think that's what we did the last time. And so I know September, October, our agendas seem to be pretty heavy. But maybe by the end of October, 1st of November, we could actually start to go through the comprehensive plan. Michelle, what do you think? Or is it something we should wait for?
Last time you did it starting after the first of the year. And the reason why is because a lot of the information and updates that were provided to you were actually done by the staff, and the research was done by staff. And November, December hits us at budget season, holiday schedules, all of that stuff. You only have one meeting in November, one meeting in December at this point scheduled. You have 2 meetings in October and 1 more this month. So it's up to all of you when you want to do that.
I think January makes the most sense, but I hate to ask because I was not the great student in school, but is there any homework I should be doing to prepare for this? Do I need to? No. I mean, I've read over it. It's quite lengthy, but is there, from your experience, is there something that we should be doing ahead of time?
No, I think when Michelle said, we rely on the information coming from the staff to help us with our decisions. our discussions, because we're going to take a look at, if you take the comprehensive plan and you just look at, we're going to use the back of the book, and we're just going to go right down through it. And that way, we will know where we stand. Because all of the objectives that are in the comprehensive plan, some are long-term, some are short-term. The people that are involved are different. That will be looked at.
That will affect our goals come June as well.
Yeah,
right?
that's right, yeah. And I think if we have the mindset of completing this prior to, like, the end of April, then we'll be more ready for goal setting when we start in May or June.
Thank you.
I can go back and look at your timetable before. The way the council did it the last time was they took it section by section. So you only did one section per meeting so that it didn't become overwhelming. And you concentrated on, say, housing. And then you concentrated it on, I think recreation was another section. And all of those different sections you did one at a time. So you just did your homework, per se, on just that area, and the conversations and updates included that area.
Yeah.
And I'll look back and see how long it actually took. I want to say it was something like 6 or 8 meetings that it took you to get through everything when we went through the last time.
Right, and the first section is the history,
Yeah.
which really, we can't rewrite history.
No.
So we'll just,
Right.
take it as it
Yep.
is.
And it's broken down by the actionable items that are at the back, and you get reports out of where we're at, where we need to be, where should we be going. And then you can base that on whether or not, when you get all said and done, then you decide whether or not that comprehensive plan is completely out of date, or no longer relevant, right? Because you don't need to undertake a new comprehensive plan process if the one you have is still technically current and working. If you were to go through a full comprehensive plan process, you would need to budget for that, because that's a larger expense. I think it's.
And it's 3 years long.
Yeah, it's not a short period, and you contract that out to somebody else to run that process. Yeah, usually it's KVCOG or the Growth Council has done them. You'd do that kind of thing.
And I think it speaks to, we were concerned about start of the year and having our organizational meetings and then running right into budget. So starting, as long as somebody doesn't drop out of the race, or as long as somebody somebody isn't a huge write-in candidate, this board will stay the same, this council will stay the same. So if we want to take a couple of the first sections, get history, get something to start the process, we gain a little time in the springtime.
Yeah. I don't even think we talked about the history, that first section, the last time. We just went right into the goals, because there are no goals within the history.
So I think our homework is we probably need to peruse it over the next 3 months and have a basic understanding, you and I particularly.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and then look at it in January. If it is a long process, maybe we order a special meeting to really give it a good look over and go from there. I'm more concerned on the 5 to 10-year development plan, to push that off a little bit. Not necessarily for this year, but in most years, it's just a lot to digest for a new council member to come in. You don't have an idea, and you really don't have enough input, enough knowledge to give an appropriate input. So depending on what happens on our public hearing and how we handle town meeting, that might give us some leeway to push that back into more the April, May, get ready for fiscal period in June after we do our budget, to set some of those goals a little more appropriately.
And that's even something we can look at toward the end of this year, trying to look at maybe some of those schedules.
Yeah.
I know we usually do some date setting at one of our first meetings of the year, but even looking ahead, get us geared up and lined up for next year.
We're already looking ahead of what your schedules are going to look like for the next 3 months, because there are some very specific requirements that have to happen regarding a vote for your referendum question that you have to have in November. That requires some specific hearings and notifications we have to do in October. So we're already working on all of that, and what does that look like, so to make sure everything fits right where it's supposed to. So
Great discussion, Kevin. Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Council Lawrence?
I want to reiterate what Councilor Townsend said about Bruce Williams. I want to thank for his service, multiple years. Be a loss,
Huge loss.
huge loss. Also, too, for residents and everyone else, don't forget tomorrow is 911. That changed the history of the United States, changed my life. I don't know if it changed Kevin Kitchen's life. We both were retired military. And just remember at 8:05 tomorrow. That's it.
Thank you, Peter.
Council Tudor?
I have three things. I'll do the easier ones first. I'd like to remind our public that on September 27th at 6:30 here at the Community Center, there will be an emergency preparedness meeting. It's twofold. To talk about community emergency response teams in case there is an emergency, and also to discuss how to be prepared in an emergency, how to evacuate, and I think that this is the beginning of something that is really going to be needed. It's hard to think of emergencies when you're not in an emergency. But when the emergency does happen, it's like you don't want to fly by the seat of your pants. And we are a community, and we want to work together. We're also going to talk about sheltering practices on the 27th. And there are a couple of meetings that are coming up. One is on September 23rd in Smithfield, and it's on emergency preparedness and how the town of Norridgewock actually worked through it when the river was rising. And just so that people have some understanding of what it takes for a community to get involved. So that's going to be in Smithfield.
Do you know where?
And at 9 o'clock at their
Range Hall?
I think it's at their town office.
town
office,
office.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be going to that one. Peter's has been involved with another one on sheltering practices. And I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that, Peter?
There's classes coming up online. It's a 2-hour class through the state, free. And you just have to sign up
Right,
early enough. For 3 months, there was classes going on.
right.
So,
For 3 months in a row, those classes are taking place, and you end up with a certificate of training. And that is being sponsored by the state Emergency Management Agency.
And what does that do? What is that for?
Shelter.
it's actually for Women's Center, Cooling Center, and what the last one was.
Like flooding, hurricane?
No,
Yeah, it's a mass cash.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. So that is going to be starting on what date, do you remember? I didn't bring it with me.
October, I think, 2nd, I think.
It's right at the beginning of October.
You have to sign up in September to attend that class, so
Yeah.
it's 2 classes each day, so.
So that's coming up
Sign up is where?
online.
I know I sent you a copy, I have a copy of that, because I can
Can we just bring it back for the September 24th meeting if it's in October?
Well, or maybe we could, I'll send it to Brittany too. Maybe
Yeah,
it
that'd be
can
great.
go on Facebook if people are interested.
Also, too, they was talking too, I talked to Bill from the state. If one person signs up for it, we can have it at one location. And we have to just do it in the chat saying who's there. He'll just
Right.
note it down and saying that person will get credit for it, so.
Yep. So that's in September. And then in January, we are going to be hosting Community Emergency Response Team Training here at the Community Center. This is being done throughout, for the whole region, the whole county. People are going to be invited to attend these training sessions. And it's for individuals, it's for small groups, it's for businesses. And this is a chance for us to work together as a community and in face of adversity. So hopefully we'll have people signing up. There is a flyer out with a QR code for the 27th meeting. The QR code is basically so that we will know which room we need to be in. If we have 50 people, we don't want to be all in here. We'll have to move into the gym, and it would be nice to have it all set up prior to the meeting. So that's why the QR code is on that flyer. And then there'll be sign-up sheets for the CERT training in January as well. So I wanted people to understand that. The other thing is, on a sad note, this year, we recognized Cecile Vigue as our oldest citizen in Fairfield, and she passed away last month. And the Boston Globe cane has come home to the town office, and we are now looking for the oldest person in our town so that we can give that cane to that person. So I know Cecile was very, very pleased to be the holder of the cane, very honored, and she was quite a person.
What was her age?
102.
102.
My condolences. I know she was a good friend. of
Yeah.
yours.
She was an awesome bridge buddy, yes. Yeah, yeah. So my third item is, we had a letter in our packets today from Delta, and I'd like Michelle to explain what this letter was for. I know I've got some red flags, and I know you mentioned, you're in conversations with Delta now, and my big thing is this in reference to this letter? Did this instigate those meetings?
Can you I think that letter was just given to you as general correspondence through the course of the week. It wasn't actually part of your packet. What's the letter about?
May I read it?
Sure.
That was last.
I was like, I just need you to remind me which letter it is.
It's to our community partners. This letter is to advise that Delta is currently preparing an application for a change in agency license level. To date, Delta Ambulance has been licensed through Maine EMS as a paramedic service. The license level will change to basic EMT, and we will permit up to the paramedic level. Can you, are you familiar with this?
I am
Remember
familiar
it?
with that.
So is this something that, to me, I think we need to have, based on what's here, we do need to have a meeting. Whether it's the same meeting that you're talking about from the beginning of the meeting, I don't know. But it's, I always thought Delta would have paramedics come with the ambulance, but now if they're going for different licensing, which they are going to do by the end of September, and they are planning on having discussions with people. I'm sure it's community. There's a 30-day period for that, they said. So they are setting dates for informational meetings through September. I'm thinking that maybe we should ask them to come and talk to us about what they're planning.
We certainly can do that.
Because I feel that their costs per capita are going up again. 26, 27, and I think we need to keep that conversation going.
Did that come in this packet this time?
Yeah, I had it in mind.
I don't think it was actually part of your
That-
packet. It was just mail. So you might have picked it up the last time you were in.
Okay, that's the last
It was the
council
last,
meeting.
last
Yeah,
council.
it might have been in your last set of information that you got when it came in. But yes, they are looking to change their licensing level, which means that their ambulance can leave the station without a paramedic on board, whereas where they're licensed to the paramedic level, that was required. Because what they've determined is that not all calls require paramedic level of care. So the conversation was that they would send out at the basic EMT level, or it may go with a paramedic on board, but say if they didn't have enough, they would be able to send them in what it talks about in that letter, a fly car, so to
Right.
speak, so that basically there would be a nimble paramedic out that would be able to go to that call. But no, you would not be guaranteed a paramedic on every call. So part of the conversation that we had with Delta was what would it look like if they partnered with us, and if they were to get to a call in Fairfield or Benton, they needed a paramedic, and our paramedic went on that ambulance and followed through with that call to the hospital. So that's part of all of the things that we are talking about. We're not prepared to discuss that further at this point in time because it would involve policies and reasons and fees, but we have talked in the past about we have had to send our paramedics in a Delta ambulance to continue that call because they needed that level of care, and that's not what they had in that ambulance at the time that it arrived. And what would we charge for a fee for that? Because should we be charging a fee for that service? But right now, it's treated just like it's a mutual aid piece, but we don't actually have mutual aid agreements for that. So it's towards that.
So the meetings that you had alluded to at the beginning are actually because of this?
Because of that.
Okay.
And there is a community meeting that is coming up that is designed for municipal officials, town managers. It's going to be in China. You should have all received information regarding that. I will forward that to you. It is, it's coming up. It's in a, do you remember when? Is it it's the 17th?
Of September?
Yeah. I think it's in the morning at the Chinatown office. Yep. 9:30.
Next Wednesday.
And, yeah, then there's some others coming, so I can get you those dates. I thought you were included in those emails that they blasted out, so.
Because I won't be able to make that meeting, but I think we should have representation there from the council.
I plan to attend, I know that, in China. I don't know as if they're going to announce their rates at that meeting or not, but we have a soft idea of what it's going to be, based upon some information we received.
I'll look for those details. I think I can be there. Yep.
All right, we'll send you those.
Thank you.
Can I ask briefly what some of your concerns were? The reason why I asked that is because I had concerns until I read this change does not represent a downgrade or reduction in service. So I had to kind of push the I believe button that they're going to still.
My big thing, and I commented in the margin, costs are still going up for Delta, and yet we have paramedics on staff within our town. And, you know, I just need to hear what they're going to say. And I really like the idea of what you're doing now, Michelle, because we have to have those conversations, whether they want to call it mutual aid or something else. Those conversations need to take place. And because I think we can all work together to make our area very safe for emergencies. But it has to be with everybody coming with an open mind.
The town of Fairfield has been trying, since it was Chief Bickford, and now Chief Leary, have been trying to figure out ways in which we can partner with Delta so to reduce the cost for Fairfield residents since the very beginning when they mentioned about doing per capita fees. This is the first time that Delta has voluntarily engaged in this conversation and has looked to a potential partnership on something. So we continue to work for it.
I'm looking forward to more coming, more conversation.
A downgrade in license is definitely a change in a reduction of service. It may even be a breach of contract when they charge a per capita fee. So I think those are things, when you do meet, those discussions we need to have when we actually have factual information on what it is. You can say it's not a downgrade of service. If you're going to rely on our paramedics as a mutual aid or whatever you want to call it, it's definitely a reduction in service and for a contract that we have no choice but to pay for. So that definitely going to deserve a lot further attention and more discussion once those meetings take place. So,
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Is the chief in on those meetings?
Yes.
I'm done. Thank you for keeping me laugh.
Kicking and screaming, but we make him go.
You know, fortunately for us, Travis has plenty of knowledge with ambulance service, with his dual role in Clinton. So I look forward to hearing what comes in the future. And again, you know, rates and contracts are going to determine our best knowledge on what to do, what's best for our citizens. So, just a couple things from me. Again, I'm going to reiterate on Bruce. Bruce, a longtime friend. I grew up with him since childhood. Thank you for all your time and service. It is a pleasure knowing that somebody local has handled our roads and our people for so long. Going to be sadly missed. Congratulations and good luck whatever you do next. School's back in session. That means fall sports, buses. Let's pay attention. I don't want to see any major accidents, somebody get run over because they didn't stop for a bus. Parking fines at the new ordinance on High Street by the football field.
West Street.
West Street.
West Street.
West Street, I'm sorry. West Street. So there'll be no parking on both sides, at least during the school year. I know they've got a game this weekend, so good luck to them and all the other teams that are playing.
I did see that they're having a tailgate now this year. They're putting on with food trucks and stuff before the football game, so that'd be a fun
It was
event
the
for the
Teachers
community.
Association. I briefly saw something about that. So we'll see. It competes with the Boosters Clubs. I'm a little torn on that one. But no, it's great. We need a little more community pride, so get out and support your Bulldogs. I just want, once again, I'm going to apologize if I was out of line at the beginning of the meeting. I am still very emotional about what has happened. Just some comments that I've taken, even social media, about not being respectful or interrupting. I want to thank my co-counselors. We don't always agree on things. I got a great deal of respect, and I feel the same in return for the people that I have the pleasure to work with. And that's what it's supposed to be about. That's why these veterans that I get to sit here with, that's what you guys paid that up sacrifice for, to protect our freedoms. Freedom of speech is so important. And in the wrong way, it can be damaging at times. But hug your loved ones. Life's too short. We may not disagree. That doesn't mean you go take somebody else's life. And we can do so much better as a society. It boils down to respect. I think in a lot of avenues in our lives today, our stresses get to us and we don't know how to deal with them or handle them. We've lost respect for life. For our employees in the town, I don't care what department, I thank you for your service. Our men in the fire department and the police department that put their lives on the line every day, thank you. Thank you for putting on those uniforms. Thank you for showing up for fires and for emergencies. And may you go home safe every single night. That's all I care about. So that's it for me. We will see you all on the 24th. At this time, we will recess. The next regular meeting will be September 24th, 2025, to be held hybrid meeting, council chambers, and via Zoom at 6:30 p.m.
Motion to go into recess.
Second.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you
great
for
night.
coming.